It helps when I'm not muted. Welcome to our live stream tonight. We're coming to you guys with something special. And this is my first time doing a live stream with multiple people on my Facebook page. So bear with us for technical difficulties like muting myself and then talking and expecting you guys to hear me. But my name is Elizabeth Hartke, and I am a mom of two incredible little kids. I have a 2-month-old baby, so I'm in mass chaos almost all the time, which is wonderful. And more than that, I am just passionate as a mom and as a wife to my incredible husband, Michael, but I'm also an independent business owner. And that's not how life always was for me with passion, and I wasn't always living on the path that I used to daydream about. I worked full-time in corporate, and I was super unfulfilled. Has anyone ever been in this place in their life where they do the work to get to where they think they want to go in their lives, and then they're there, and then they're like, this isn't what I really want. I'm not happy every day. I'm not fulfilled every day. And 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, before I found my path, that's what I was doing. I was spending every day commuting an hour into a job that I was not only was I not passionate about, I didn't even believe in what I was doing. I was unhappy. I was unfulfilled. And on top of that, I was underpaid. I was underutilized. No one cared about my talents or my gifts. They wanted me to do what I was supposed to do, and they didn't really care about the quality of the work. They just wanted it done. My creative side was totally being squelched, which made me unhappy. I was overweight because I was in a sedentary job. I'd had multiple knee surgeries that kind of led me down this path to convincing myself that I could never really get into the shape I wanted to be in. I was just in this place, like this rut in my life where nothing was really going my way. And instead of looking in the mirror and pointing the finger back at me, I pointed it everywhere else. It was because of my circumstances that I couldn't be living in the type of place I wanted to be living. And it was because of my circumstances, having had those knee surgeries, that I wasn't in the shape I wanted to be in, which then led to me not having the confidence I wanted to have. Everything was everyone else's fault, everything else's fault, nothing was my fault. Yet I would sit in that cubicle every day and I would daydream about what I wanted my life to look like. And I hadn't figured out a way to convince myself I could actually have those things, so they just kind of remain daydreams. You sit there, you think about the things that you would do if you had all the time in the world or all the money in the world, or had that perfect spouse or those perfect, beautiful kids. And if you had all the confidence in the world, or you had the perfect body, like that's what I would daydream about. And I used to sit there and I would actually write out business plans about how I'd escape that rat race, but I would never put the pedal to the metal. I'd never, take that leap of faith. And one day I remember I was driving into that corporate job, and it was so depressing because my office was in like a basement space. So it was dark. I make it sound dramatic, but it's true. It was like dark and musty down there. My manager was awful. Sorry if she's watching this, but she just was terrible. And I was driving into work, and I remember having this like wave of emotion hit me. And I'm not a crier, but I remember being like at a stoplight trying to catch my breath because I'm like, oh my God, this is it. It finally clicked for me. It's not just going to get better with time. Up until then, I had been convincing myself like, oh, I'm just doing this right now, but eventually I'll be doing what I want to be doing. Well, I wasn't actually doing anything to ensure that that would happen. I wasn't taking any steps towards something different. I wasn't making any changes. I wasn't eating healthier or being healthier or taking that, going down the career path I wanted, or doing the work on me, or working on my faith, or working on my confidence, none of that. But I just thought somehow magically I was going to leap from this life I didn't like living, and then somehow time would magically get me to where I wanted to be. Well, it finally clicked on that ride into work. No, actually it's getting worse. It's only ever going to get worse. There's never going to be a perfect time to take a chance in life. There's never going to be that right moment or aha moment when I say, oh, I have all the confidence in the world in this, I'm just going to go for it. It just doesn't happen that way. So it finally hit me. oh, this is it. This is my life. This is how I'm going to live every day for the rest of my life until I retire. I'm going to spend most of my time doing something I don't believe in. And I'm going to have just enough money to survive. And I'm not going to have time to be with the people I love when I want to be with them. Like, it just was a really overwhelming, kind of suffocating reality that hit me. But it was one of the best moments, like slaps in the face, that I ever had. Because in that same time frame, a day or so before, I saw this guy that I had purchased Shakeology through post on Facebook about how he was, on like a random day of the week, how he was off hiking with his wife and his daughter. And I was like, what does this guy do that he's able to just do that? And it was Beachbody. And I was super snobby towards Beachbody. If I'm being totally honest, I was like, I'm above that. I don't need that. I have a degree. I have a real career. Yet I was miserable. So for me to stick my nose up at something that might just be the solution didn't make sense. So I finally said yes. Since that day, 5 years ago, my entire life has transformed. Not only financially, yes, that's a blessing. I have 20x'd my corporate income. I was able to say, screw you, see you later to my boss. And with a year ago now, my husband, who is in actuarial science with a great insurance company, was able to do the same thing, to pursue his passions. We didn't need that income anymore because our Beachbody business had taken off so much. But if I hadn't given it a chance, if I hadn't stopped assuming that time would change everything or my circumstances would magically change, and if I didn't realize that I had to just go all in, I had to give this a chance, I had to go for those daydreams, because if I didn't, I would be at the end of my life someday looking back saying, I've left no legacy. I never pursued my passions. And this is it. Like, this was my one shot and I blew it. And I wasn't willing to do that. The fear of failure, the doubts that come with starting something new, the uncertainty, the chance for falling flat on your face, none of that scared me as much as the thought of staying the same for the next 40 years scared me. That scared me to death. So I said yes. I had no clue what I was doing. I was out of shape. I didn't have a lot of time because I was working full time, but I said yes to this opportunity. And now 5 years later, we're financially free, totally out of debt, living the life of our dreams. And I'm home with my 2 children and my husband. Today was the perfect example. It isn't the big things that blow me away about this. You know what I did today? My husband and I were like, oh, when are you going to get your work done? And I'll hang with the kids and vice versa. And he said, let's just go to the park. Let's just take the kids down to the lake and go to the park. And that's what we did today. That's the blessing of this opportunity. That's how it's changed my life. And tonight you're going to hear from a bunch of other people who started right where I started, ground zero, no clue what they were doing, all the odds against them, even more so than me, some of them. Yet here they are, successful, living out their dreams through Beachbody coaching, through this opportunity, and they're going to share their stories with you. So first up, we have someone I respect and admire. He's a dad, a single dad, and he is just, I don't know, to me, he's just a light. Like, his smile, his energy, he's fierce because he's committed, and he sees the path for his family's future through this opportunity. So I'm going to hand it over to Craig. And Craig Daigle is going to tell us tonight a little bit about his story, which I've heard before, and it's driven me to tears. So you're not going to want to miss it. Craig, why don't you unmute yourself and take over, and I'll stop yapping.
Hey guys, how are you? I can't turn my video on, but.
Where are you? Is it letting you?
No, it says you stopped it, but that's all right.
Oh, wait. No, I'm not stopping your video. Let's see. We'll get you going.
It says you can't start video because the host has stopped it.
Let's see. How about now?
Try it. Nope. It's all right. I can just talk. That's
so
fine.
You talk, and I'll try and figure out the tech issue.
So my name's Craig. I am a single dad. My boys are one of them just turned 11 and the other one's going to turn 5 on the 10th. And I've been a single dad a couple times in my lifetime. This is my second round of being a single dad. And I can honestly tell you, depression, anxiety, and turning to food as a crutch put me into a really bad health situation back in like 2015. And December 1st, 2015, I decided to take my life back. I can't pinpoint exactly what it was. I think I woke up.
Craig, I disconnected you by accident. Come back to us. Hold on. Sorry, Craig. Keep going.
There we go.
Sorry about that. I'm new to this. I told you, tech issues. It's going to happen. Go ahead.
We'll figure it out. So I don't know exactly what it was that morning that I could pinpoint, but I can tell you right now, I woke up and I had sleep apnea, and I pulled my CPAP machine off, and trust me, it was a very unattractive and very, I don't know, belittling thing that I wore to bed. If anybody's ever worn one, you know what I'm talking about. You're on a leash in bed, and you wear it because it's a serious medical condition that prevents you from breathing while you sleep. And that morning I woke up and I popped in T25, and that was my first exposure to Beachbody, was T25. And I can tell you right now, honestly, it was probably one of the hardest 25 minutes of my life. But I can also tell you this, being overweight was hard every single day. Being overweight was hard 24 hours a day, whether I was asleep, trying to sleep and breathe, or if I was just trying to do stuff with my kids. And I couldn't do things with my kids that other dads could. And that really, it took its toll on me. Mentally, emotionally, it took its toll on me. And that first day when I did the T25, I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what, that sucked, but it was only 25 minutes. It was only 25 minutes. And I got up the next day and I did it. And then I was introduced to Shakeology. I was not drinking it when I first started, so I didn't really know about it. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'll be the first guy to openly probably admit I thought Beachbody was for women, which is a false stereotype. I also thought that Shakeology would not help me, which is also another false stereotype. I did not realize that Shakeology was for your nutrition. It's not a protein shake. It's not. It's completely different. And for somebody who was not eating vegetables and eating healthy, Shakeology changed my life. It helped me regain my nutrition. It helped me stay focused on a meal plan. And over the coming months, I lost pound after pound, and I broke down my comfort zone. I broke down these walls and barriers that I put up from being in an abusive relationship. And it was really a freeing feeling to feel confident again, to be able to do stuff with my children again without being out of breath. I've lost over 100 pounds using Beachbody. And I can honestly say that one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life was becoming a coach, because I've met all of these wonderful people that you're going to hear from tonight. I've met some of the most supportive and loving individuals I've ever met in my entire life through Beachbody. And a lot of coaches don't talk about the support enough. And I think that it's a really big portion of what we do. We all lift each other up and we support each other. And since I've been doing this, I needed a second job anyways to provide for my boys. And I was working at the time as a maintenance mechanic at a hospital 40 minutes away from my house. And I was on call and I worked 6 days a week sometimes. And I would drive, and I was trying to pay for childcare. I was trying to pay for food. I was trying to pay for gas to get to work. And what kept me afloat was good friends, support from coaches, and the income I made from being a coach. If it wasn't for that extra income that I had from helping other people change their lives, which is probably hands down the most fulfilling thing in the world for me, because nothing is greater than to wake up in the morning and to get a message from somebody that says, because of you, I feel great. Because of you, I changed my life. because of you, I have my life back. Because of my coach, I have my life back. Because of the coaches on this call, they helped me bring my life back. And I've been able to show my boys and be a role model for my kids. And I think that that's one of the greatest things that I can do for my children is to show them. And I tell them this. And if you've never heard my affirmation that I say with my kids, I wanted to say it here for you guys too. Every morning, every single morning, I wake up and I gratitude journal. And this is something that I've learned from being a coach. This is something that I've learned from working on myself, not only physically, but emotionally. I work on myself every single day. Every morning I get up and I sit down and I write in a journal things that I'm grateful for, and I start my day off positive. And the reason that I start my day off positive is I need to fill my cup up first, because if my cup's not full, I have nothing to pour out to anybody else. I have nothing to give my children. I have nothing to give my coaches or my challengers. I have nothing to help people with if my cup's not full. So I always start off every morning grateful, and then I tell everybody this. I tell them, I say, if nobody told you today, you are beautiful, you are blessed, and you are loved. You are the best, and there is no one better than you. You are better than nobody but the person that you were yesterday, and tomorrow you will be even better than you are today. You can have, you can be, and you can do anything that you want in life because you are limitless. This is something that I've been telling my kids every single morning before school for months now. And it's great because my 4, almost 5-year-old, he says it almost verbatim. And when he says it, I can tell that he believes it. Could you imagine growing up if our parents taught us that we could do anything that we wanted and taught us about personal development? I would not have known any of that stuff if I was not a Beachbody coach. I would not have known that if I didn't change my life, if I didn't take the leap of faith to work on myself. I saved my life physically. I saved my life emotionally. I saved my life for my children with this, with an opportunity to work on myself, with an opportunity to create a business and a life of freedom, an opportunity to create a life of design, an opportunity to inspire and motivate other people. It's truly fulfilling, truly fulfilling. I think my time's just about up, Liz, but I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and our next speaker is going to be Danielle Whitford. She's amazing, and I can't wait for you to hear her story next.
All right. Hey, guys. Can you guys hear me? Oh, there I am. Hi. Hi, everybody. I hope you guys can you, like, Liz, can you nod? Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm so excited to share my story with you guys. I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit, but I'm going to try really hard to keep like on a chronological path for you guys. But
All right, guys, I told you I promised some technical difficulties. So defroze for a second there. We're going to switch her for a minute, and I'm going to hand it over to Rachel. Oh, wait, Danielle, are you back?
oh my God, my internet. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Can you guys hear me, see me? Is everything cool?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. So part of my deal is I am just a hot mess. So you guys just need to know that right now is that my life is just a raging hot mess. So anyway, Okay, so like I was saying, I was kind of teaching myself, and in that process, I, found Beachbody, but I'm like the world's biggest skeptic. Okay, like I was like, "What is this? Whatever." The short story of that is that Beachbody, like the products and Shakeology, totally changed my life. It helped me lose over 50 pounds, and it was amazing. So when I decided to take the leap with Beachbody, I also was open to the idea of coaching. So in July of 2013, I had signed up as a coach. And I kind of say that I was like a hobby coach. Like I was someone who kind of like was toying around with the idea, but I wasn't all in. And that was mainly because I didn't believe in myself. Like I was totally lacking belief in myself. In fact, I actually almost quit. I found out I was pregnant, and it just kind of was one of those things where I just told myself I couldn't do it. For so many years of my life, that was my excuse, was that I can't do this. It's great for other people. It's great for Liz. It's great for these other people I'm seeing. But for me, it's never going to work, right? I wrote it off before I really gave it a shot. This is where I'm going to jump around a little bit, is that before my daughter Lily was born, my daughter Lily is 5. Before she was born, I swore up and down that I would never want to be a stay-at-home mom. I said, no way, I'm going to work forever. I don't want to be home. I don't want to do that. And if you don't have kids yet, let me tell you, you do not have anything figured out about your kids. Like, they will completely turn your life upside down in some way, because that's what happened to me. I'm holding this baby, brand new baby, and I'm looking at her going, well, crap. I've now built myself a life where I have to work. Like, I can't not work. And so I kind of just, you kind of accept it, right? Like you kind of just like, I was resigned to the fact that, well, this is my life. Like everyone hates their job, right? So this is how it's going to be. And that was another reason why I wasn't really open to Beachbody, because I'm like, no one actually lives the life they want to live. Like no one actually, has a freedom in their life. Like that's not a real thing. That's like make-believe. That's, 1 in a million. Well, things got bad enough at my job. I wasn't real passionate about what I did. I mean, my job was fine before I had babies. I was a metal buyer, a corporate buyer. And so like on paper, it's great, right? Like this is a great job, great benefits, great, everything. But for me, it like tore my heart out of my chest every time I had to go to work, and leave my kid at daycare. Now I was pregnant with my second. I was pregnant with Valerie, and I found out January 2014. So I'd signed up in July of 2013. January of 2014, I find out I get 2 sick days a year. I was a salaried employee, but I got 2 sick days a year for the entire year for myself to stay home with my kids, whatever, and 2 weeks of vacation, and that was it. That year, like the first 2 weeks of January, I used both of my sick days because my kids, because Lily was sick. She had ear infections. Can't go to daycare when you have 102-degree fever. So I was facing an entire year of my husband having to be the one to stay home with her, or me burning my precious vacation days. Also, the school was closed because I live in Wisconsin. For those of you that don't know, I live in Wisconsin, and it gets really cold here. So it was a year where it was like -30 with the wind chill, and her daycare was closed, and I had to stay home with her. I worked from home. I had my laptop. I had, my cell phone. I did all of my work. Nothing fell through the cracks. In fact, I remember in that moment, sitting there by the fireplace, watching Lily play, thinking, this is amazing. Like, this is so cool to be home with my kid, doing work, like feeling like a total, badass mom. Like, this is great. And I went to work the next day and I got reprimanded. I actually got like written up for not being physically at work that day, even though I like arranged it ahead of time, even though like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm having another baby. It's not going to get easier. And so I remember going back to my office and just like having this moment of like, call it a moment of clarity, a moment of, shit hitting the fan, whatever you want to say, like come to Jesus moment. It was one of those moments where I just remember praying so hard, like, something has to give, like something in my life has to change, because I cannot spend the next 18 years this way. Like, I already feel miserable. This is not going to get easier. And I remember going on like monster.com or like Indeed or whatever the resume, like the job search sites were, and typing in like legit work from home and things like that. And I was just like, of course nothing comes up, or it's all like scam stuff, or you assume it's a scam, whatever. And I remember just kind of feeling defeated in that moment. And then I went on Facebook, because that's what you do when you feel defeated, right? Is you just scroll Facebook mindlessly. So I went on Facebook, and I kid you not, every single post I saw was something to do with our team. Because remember, I signed up in July of 2013. I was connected to people. I saw the team page. Liz is posting these awesome things. Other coaches are posting these awesome things, great things they're doing in their life, these trips they're taking, how good they feel, how happy they are. And I'm like, it was the total just like aha moment of, what the hell am I doing? Like, it's right in front of me. And in that moment, everything changed. My belief changed. At that moment, I was all in. I was in. I was like, I don't know. I remember sending Liz the message saying, girl, I am all in. I don't know what that means, but I want to help people. I want to change my life. I want to change their life. I want to do this. And I set a goal to be out of my job in 1 year. And I missed that goal by about a week. So February 9th of 2015 was my last day of work. And I'm home with my kids. And I want to emphasize that for me, that was something that never would have been possible without this opportunity. Never. Like, I was the breadwinner. Like, if anyone was going to stay home with the kids, it was going to be my husband. Like, I made twice as much as he did. Not that his job wasn't good or wasn't, providing for us, but just that was always the plan. So because of this opportunity, I am home with my kids. I'm doing something I love. So if you want something different for your life, you can totally do it. You just have to decide. And this is coming from a reformed quitter, you guys. Like, this is coming from someone who has quit most everything in her life at some point, okay? But if you want something bad enough, you can have it. I hear all the time that there's the two things that push you into doing something, right? It's either inspiration or desperation. And for me, it was a little bit of both. I was inspired by all the people I see, and I was desperate to get out of my job. I was desperate to be home with my kids, to have the freedom. Liz talked about the freedom that she has in her life. And that's what I wanted, was on a random Thursday morning to go and play at the park. Or, this morning we ran errands. My daughter gave up her Nook today. We made a big thing of it. I got to be there for that stuff. It doesn't have to be a stressor in my life, because we are living our lives by design. Another little side note, my husband lost his job this year. Earlier this year, his company was acquired, and they eliminated all the tenured employees, including my husband, who was there for almost 10 years. And it's so funny because a couple of his family members were let go too. And I remember in that moment, we went out to have drinks, commiserate, whatever, talk about it. And we were the ones that were smiling. We were the ones that were oh, we're good. No one has to worry about us. We're good. And that's because of this opportunity. That was always our plan anyway. The universe just decided it was going to be sooner than we expected. But because of this opportunity, we're not freaking out. My husband gets to do some of the things he wants to do and pursue his passions. So this opportunity has just opened doors that I never thought would have ever been open to us. So my advice for you guys, if you're watching this, if you're on the fence about running with this opportunity or coaching, or you're just not sure, just believe in what's possible. That's what we're talking about tonight, is what's possible. Believe in what's possible. Believe in your abilities and what you can offer the world. Decide that it's worth it. Decide that you're worth it. And then commit to it, hell or high water. Because I'll tell you, it's not easy. I've been doing this for over 3 years. It's not an easy journey all the time. But it's a hell of a lot easier than what I was doing before. So following your passions, doing this, it's an incredible ride. So that's what I want to share with you guys tonight. I think my time is up. And I am so lucky to introduce the next person, because she's my Beachbody bestie. She is my success partner, and her story is incredible. Rachel Khalil, it's your turn.
Can you hear me okay? I hope. Okay, cool. Thanks, Danielle. Hi, guys. So you guys just got to hear 2 or 3 incredible stories, and I'm really excited / kind of nervous to share mine. But so my name's Rachel Khalil. I've been coaching now for a little over 3 years. I'm trying to get this shine off my head. And so I signed up in January of 2014. So let me just kind of paint the picture as to what life was like before Beachbody, and then I'm going to kind of walk you through my journey in 10 minutes or less, and hopefully inspire you. So before Beachbody, I married really young for my age group. I got married at the age of 23, which a lot of people don't do that right out of college. That's a really kind of weird thing to do. But my husband was joining the military. He was getting ready to take that next step in his life, which was to be in the military. So we decided to get married super young. We are high school sweethearts. And so that was kind of where my journey began, honestly. I had no idea what I was getting myself into being a military spouse. No one really prepares you for that lifestyle. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but it was something I was just thrown into. And I quickly realized that by taking that opportunity and taking that step to follow my husband, go after his dreams and his career, kind of left me with no career. I had to kind of leave it all out there and just figure it out, because with the military, we're typically moving at a second's notice, and you just never know when you're going to move. So that was very much of our life the first couple of years. So when we did our final move and we knew we were going to be there for a little bit longer, I applied to 3 jobs every single day for about 4 months straight. And being a college graduate, having my degree, I felt like I was applying to jobs that were very much beneath me. I thought I worked really hard for that degree. I felt like I deserved that good career starting job for myself. And I heard nothing back, not even a phone call. So imagine what that can do to a young, newly graduate, newly married person, right? That completely just derails you, makes you feel like crap. So I played around with the thought of being a stay-at-home dog mom or a stay-at-home wife. But I quickly realized that wasn't going to pay my bills, that wasn't going to help us get out of the debt that we accrued together. So I was mindlessly scrolling Facebook, like we all do. Let's be real. And side note, I hated Facebook because my newsfeed was so negative, because those are the people that I was following. So I hated it just as much as the next person hated it. And I saw my now coach, Liz, she posted something about getting yourself back on health and fitness, and out of my complete comfort zone, I just reached out to her and I was like, hey, I need help, because I tried everything possible. I've tried diet pills. I've tried Special K. I tried the military diet. I tried everything and nothing was working for me. I needed something to just make me feel better about myself. So I signed up at the unhealthiest I have ever been in my entire life, which I'm a short girl. I'm only 5'3". And when you're pushing 150 pounds, that doesn't look good on you. So if I didn't make some kind of change, my track, where I was heading was going into obesity, which I grew up an athlete. I played soccer my entire life. So how are all of these things kind of pulling me down when I feel like I should be going a much different direction? So I went all in right from the start. She shared with me her story, much of what you heard tonight. And I wanted that for myself. I wanted that for my life. I wanted that for my future. And I came in kind of guns blazing. I put my head down. I worked on myself. I completed a program for the first time in my entire life, which is a huge accomplishment. It was a 10-week program. So the business started to help transform me physically. And then I wanted that financial part. So I went to school. I paid for my school. I'm a very independent person. I've always been able to kind of take care of myself, if not be able to take care of other people. So when it came to one point, and I'll never forget this, when I was heading to the grocery store, I was trying to pay for groceries, and in the military, you only get paid certain days, and it wasn't payday yet. And I had to pay for our groceries on a credit card. And I felt so embarrassed. I felt completely derailed. I knew at that moment that something had to give. I had to do something in order to change my life financially, because finances it's a huge burden on my shoulders. I had so much debt in my life that literally derails me. If you ever feel like someone's just stepping on your chest And it's like, it's that money holding you back from literally living out your full potential. That was me. I had no money. I wasn't working. So when I saw that this business could literally give me that opportunity to completely change my life financially, it was a no-brainer for me. Literally, this was my dream job, to work out from home, to work from home, so that at any second's notice, if we get the call from the military that we have to pick up and move, we move, and my job comes with me. And build some kind of finances. I was happy if I just paid for groceries that month. That was it. The financial part completely took off. Within the first year of coaching, I was able to completely pay off all of my credit card debt, which was $10,000 in credit card debt. Imagine what that could do for your family, right? So then I kind of started to toy around with the business, or not the business, but I started to toy around with the idea of maybe I can pay off my student loans. That student loan debt to me was something that completely held me back from living my full potential of life. My student loans, having those debt collectors constantly call your phone and you're like hidden ignore so you don't have to actually hear them. Yeah, that was me. So I made a goal, I made a plan, I set a goal for myself that in 1 year's time frame, I'm going to pay off my entire student loans to my name, and I'm going to be student loan debt free. Probably a couple of weeks after I made that goal, I got a call a letter in the mail from another debt collector telling me that I owed another $10,000 in student loan debt. Like, shoot me in the heart. I wanted to cry, and I did cry. I was like, how are they still coming after me 5 years after college, and they're still asking me for more money? So at that point, I just made it my single most goal that I was going to pay off all of my student loan debt. And not only did I achieve that goal, guys, I paid it off in 10 months. So I paid it off 2 months earlier than what I was supposed to do, or what I said for myself. So in October of 2016, I just did this. I just paid off freaking $30,000 worth of student loan debt, something that's supposed to take me 25 years. And because I said yes to this opportunity, because I showed up every single day, and because I worked my ass off, I did it. Like, I achieved it. So I made this huge vision board when I first started coaching too. And I put all of these like crazy things on this vision board that I never imagined myself that I'd be able to achieve. And I'm currently in the moment of all of this stuff that I'm currently achieving. So I paid off all of my credit card debt, paid off my student loan debt. One of my biggest goals was that when my husband got done with the military, he would have the option or the opportunity to choose what he wanted to do for work. And if you follow me, you know this. My husband just got out of the military like 2 weeks ago. And I built this business for us so that he was able to choose exactly what he wants to do for his future. Can you imagine giving that gift to someone you love so much that if they want to go to work, they can, or if they can be choosy and pick whatever job they want to choose? Like, guys, that is what this business does for you. And not only that, we were just able to buy our dream house, a house that I envisioned since I was a little kid. I envisioned my house before I envisioned my wedding. True story. We just bought our dream house, and it's something I say all the time, that this is my dream. I'm currently living my dream. I'm living a life that I never knew was possible for myself. And it's because I said yes to this opportunity. It's because I gave it a chance. There's so much potential up there, guys, in you. So you just have to freaking believe in yourself, and you have to go for it, because who knows where this opportunity is going to take your life, because it can completely change it. And now I have the amazing opportunity to share or to introduce our next speaker, which is Dana. Her story is even more powerful. And good luck, Dana. Is Dana on?
Can you guys see me? Hear me?
Dana.
I'm here. Can you see me? Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dana.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Sorry, I had to get my little guy settled. Okay, so this is actually really hard for me to do, to sum my story up in 10 minutes. And as I've been thinking about it, it just, I truly, honestly don't really sit down often and think about exactly the place that I was in when I started this journey, because it's very emotional for me to go back to that place that I was. So for you to really truly understand the depth of my story, I think it's really important that I kind of take you back to my life, prior to Beachbody, just like everyone else has, because otherwise you don't really understand the immensity of the transformation and of the changes in our lives. So, from a very young age, I struggled with a lot of trauma in my life. I lost my dad to heart disease when I was 12. And, at that point in my life, I started to struggle immensely with anxiety and depression, which turned into, struggling with an eating disorder for the next, about 8 years of my life, just because I couldn't emotionally process the loss at such a young age. And when I was 16, my mom decided to move us from Massachusetts down to Florida to be near her family, to have a support system. And I felt like a total fish out of water. I felt like a misfit. I, struggled so much with insecurity and self-doubt. And then to top it off, when I was 16, right before my senior year of high school, I was in a freak boating accident, and I was thrown out of a boat and hit by a propeller. And I'm just honestly lucky to wake up and be on this earth every single day with the tragedy of that accident that I lived through. So I'm missing almost the top half of my left pelvis due to that accident, and I've had 12 hip surgeries. And over the course of the next 10 years of my life after that, I struggled immensely with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, chronic pain, in and out of doctor's offices, in and out of surgeries. And once I got to college, I, really was just kind of lost. I had lost my ability to dream. I, basically lived on medication. There was a point in my early 20s where I took 22 pills a day, just to survive and just to get by. And, I didn't have the strength then to realize that my lifestyle choices could really impact the way that I was living my life. And I didn't have the courage to make that change yet. So while I was in college, it just kept being where I would start a semester, I'd do really well, I'd have to have a surgery, I'd drop out, I'd start again. And by the time I was, 25, I was just really hopeless. Like, I felt like I had this constant snowballing of something bad happening and keeping me from ever truly progressing in my life. And I really had lost hope. Fast forward, I met a guy and surprisingly found out that 3 months later I was pregnant. And, I had been told by multiple doctors that because of my bone structure from my accident that I wouldn't be able to have children. So it was a huge wake-up call for me. It was a huge smack in the face that it was no longer going to be about me. And I had a little person that was going to rely on me to learn how to live. And it was this weight that I felt of like, I need to start becoming someone that I'm proud to be. And that didn't happen quite yet for me. I realized I was in a very abusive relationship. And when my son was 5 months old, I called my mom at 4:00 in the morning after my house had been shattered to pieces. And I said, Mom, I need help and I need to move. And I picked my baby up 3 days later. We moved across country. I had no plan. I had no job lined up. I had nowhere for us to live. I lived above my mom's garage with my 6-month-old baby as a 27-year-old woman. And I was ashamed. I was ashamed of who I was. I was ashamed of where my life was. I was ashamed that I felt like a failure. And I had no hope of how I was going to provide a life that I desired to for this baby or become someone that I was proud to be, because I was so entangled in all of the, the mental trauma of overcoming abuse, but also that had hindered me in my life prior to that. So at that point, while I was living above my mother's garage and just trying to get back on my feet, my coach started sending me messages. And I had no clue. She was like, you could get fit, you could get healthy, like you could lose your baby weight. And I just was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. She doesn't understand what's going on in my life right now. And I said no for 4 months. And it wasn't until, I found our first condo to move into for Declan and I, where I thought, you know what? I need to better myself. And if I'm going to be a good example for my little boy, and I'm going to become someone I'm proud to be for him, and someone that I'm proud for him to look up to, that change has to begin with me. And, I had all of these mental struggles and physical struggles to overcome. And it was like, I signed up for a challenge pack with T25 and Shakeology, and that became my focus every day, that 30 minutes to press play, to do something positive, to show up and lean into the support of the community, of the people that didn't care about my past, that just wanted to see me better myself and progress and succeed. And that was a feeling that I had never had in my life before, that support and that welcomeness and the friendships of people who just loved you for all that you are and believed in all that you could become. And really quickly, within 3 days, I learned of the coaching opportunity, and I had obviously, no experience with prior to this. You want to sit with me? Sorry. And I really had no idea what coaching entailed, but I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is my no plan B, because I was at that point in my life. Declan, come sit with me for a minute. I'll be done in 2 minutes. I was at this point in my life where I was at a crossroads, and it was either I was going to put my 1-year-old baby in full-time daycare, or I was going to run with this and go all in. Declan, we have to wait. Okay, we got to hold on 2 seconds. Guys, I'm sorry. This is mom life. This is the real deal. But it was at that point when I learned of the coaching opportunity and what was possible. And I just felt like, this is it for me. Like, this is the opportunity for me to turn my mess and my story into a message to where I can empower myself and become someone I'm proud to be. And I can show literally any person that they can become, do, or achieve anything that they want to do in their life, given that they're willing to show up and fight for that. And, when it came to coaching, I came into this with the vision that it wasn't a matter of, was I going to have success and do something big with this? It was just a matter of when. I knew I was going to show up. I was going to make the sacrifices. I laid my baby to bed at night every single night, and I told him, baby, I'm building our dream life. And I poured my heart and soul into bettering myself and into bettering all the women that I served in my challenge groups and now on my team. And I just honestly, when people ask me, how has your life changed because of this opportunity, the only thing I can really say is there is nothing about me or my life that hasn't changed because of this opportunity. And now I've been a coach for a little over 3 years now. I'm home full time with my baby, which, that freedom of time is absolutely priceless to me. It killed me to think that I was going to have to put a baby in daycare and he'd have no solid parent figure. The fulfillment that I feel of the mission, because I've had such a transformation that I can pour that into other people wherever they are at and help them meet them where they're at and really help them truly transform in amazing ways that maybe they never thought possible for themselves either, is what I love to do. And it's what I live to wake up for every single day. And I just really, with the whole financial aspect of things, I've been able to create an income that doubles what I would have made had I gone back to get a college degree in, an entry-level job with the degree I was going for. And to me, as a single mom, it is priceless to have the freedom of finance and the freedom of time. So if I can say, one thing about this business, Danielle mentioned this, you either have to have that desperation or you have to have that inspiration. And you just have to go all in with it, because if you have that plan B in the back of your mind, there's always going to be that little voice of doubt creeping up saying, maybe if this doesn't work for you, you have something to fall back on. And for me, having no backup plan and no plan B was the best thing I ever did for myself, because that was the driving force that made me show up every single day, that has changed our entire reality over the course of 3 years. So that was hard to sum up. I could talk forever. My time is up. So Colleen, I'm going to introduce Colleen Eddy to you next, who also has an incredible story and actually was one of the girls who really inspired me to go all in with this business. So take it away, Colleen.
Hey guys. So it's kind of funny that we're doing this all together because this is kind of our group of leaders and just my home slices, and just to hear all the stories in one place together. I don't think in 3.5 years we've had this. So I'm really honored to be a part of this lineup today. So my name is Colleen Curtis, and I've been a coach, like I said, 3.5 years, almost going on 4 now. I am 31 years old, and I just 4 to 5 years ago was kind of rock bottom. So I'll paint my hot mess rock bottom story for you. And most of it is unbelievable when I share my story, because I still can't believe that I was the person who couldn't even buy light bulbs to afford to turn her lights on. I couldn't turn my heater on. Well, A, it was broken, and B, I couldn't afford it. I was the negative Nancy, and now I'm the girl who talks to people about thinking positive. I was the girl for a long time who shoved herself into this little tiny box that society gives us. And you're supposed to go to school and get this job and have a fancy title and have a salary, because salaries for some reason just sound so beautiful on paper, right? And I was shoved in this little box where deep down inside, I knew that I was meant for more. We're all told as kids and as young adults, like, you're made for something great. But I didn't believe that. So I went to college, I had the grades, I played sports, I made friends, I got the corporate job. So here I am, 21 years old, out of college, and I'm building the resume like mom and dad told me to do. I'm building the resume like my boss tells me, and I'm completely unfulfilled. But I've always been that good employee who just shows up because that's what mom and dad said to do. This is what you're supposed to do. And even though my boss drove me crazy, and it was a really stressful job for a 21-year-old, I ended up working my way from customer service to sales to management really young. It was such a stressful job. I just went into work every day and dealt with it. But when I turned 24, I realized, like, this is scaring me, because if I have to do this every day for the rest of my life, I don't think I'm going to make it. So when I turned 24, I packed all my things. Sorry, my lighting is all messed up right now. I don't know what's going on. But when I turned 24, I packed up my whole life and moved 3,000 miles cross country. And when I got here, I live in Lake Tahoe. If you don't know what it looks like, Google it. It's amazing. When I got here, it was like this eighth wonder of the world, this playground. And here I was going into this job every day. And people here don't really work typical jobs. You're either an entrepreneur, you have your own business, or you kind of just work in the mountains, outdoor jobs. So here I was, like the oddball out, and going into this job. So I ended up working for who I call the devil. So if you guys have ever worked for a terrible boss, or have terrible coworkers, or just hate your work situation, like, I get it. I drove to work 26 miles through the mountains every single day, worked, and came back home, and felt like I was smashing my head against a wall. But a blessing in disguise came my way, finally. And in the moment, I didn't think it was a blessing in disguise, but I came into work one day with this devil boss, and I found out that she transferred me to a store that was about an hour away. So I had to leave Lake Tahoe. I moved to Reno, Nevada, which is not Lake Tahoe. And I was excited to get away from this devil boss, because she was making my life so miserable that I had stomach ulcers. That's actually how I found Shakeology, because I was so unhealthy from the inside out that I couldn't eat a salad. I was just a hot mess. So when she transferred me to the Reno store, I had to get a new place. I signed a lease for a year. And I found out within 30 days of taking this new position that I lost my corporate job. So all because this one boss didn't like me, and she had a power trip over me. She transferred me to another store that was closing. I lose my job. Now, when you're invested 6.5 years into a career out of college, that's the only thing I thought I was going to do forever. Verizon Wireless is this huge corporation, and I love technology. I was really great at that job, but that blessing in disguise, having the carpet ripped out from underneath me, the moment that I decided that I would never go back to that was when I walked out the door. I had this white severance package envelope in my hand with my employee ID number on it, not even my name. They didn't even put my name on it. Said, sorry, your store is closing. And I called my dad and I said, I will never allow someone else to have control over me, to make me feel like this again. I was so over it and so hurt and angry, resentful, that I said no more. So I started to think like, okay, Colleen, you're educated, you're excited, you're ready to take life on. Who can help you do that? And that's when I thought of Elizabeth Hartke, my coach. I went to high school with her. I was like, all right, you're really unhappy, you're unhealthy, you're in $20,000 of credit card debt. How am I going to start to make changes in my life? And so when I thought of Liz, I reached out to her. And guys, I was the customer who bought a challenge pack and returned it. It just wasn't the right time for me. I was the person who tried chocolate Shakeology and was like, this is so disgusting. I didn't make it right. I didn't have a good blender. And now I drink chocolate Shakeology every day, which is kind of ironic. But when I bought this challenge pack, it just wasn't the right time. 6 months later, I come back and I'm like, Liz, I want to coach. Not only do I want to work out and work with you, but I want to coach. And she was like, okay, I've always said that you'd be great at this. So I was the coach who signed up and never looked back. And here's why. This opportunity, I realized that the success, the life transformation, the financial success, the mental, emotional, physical success, someone else had already done it. Beachbody is a successful company. It's an amazing opportunity. It was just up to me to dive in and create my success with Beachbody. So coaching has basically been these stepping stones to get healthy and happy, to build my confidence, to realize that I can create an at-home business where I pay this forward to other people. It has allowed me to, my husband went through cancer, 2 diagnoses. He went through chemo treatments, and I was able to sit next to him every day in treatment. And that was the craziest experience. I can't even tell you, like watching your husband be hooked up to this, and I'm sitting here working my business. And I always think like, where would I be if this opportunity didn't exist or if Liz didn't share? So this is why we're crazy people on social media sharing it, because we want it for so many other people. I am now going on, so my dream job is travel, social media, photography, music festivals, self-expression, living a vibrant life, feeling fit, being a badass mom someday. Like all of that is encompassed in this job. And it's crazy to me that just because I decided to sign up, dedicate myself to a better me, that I've created a business out of it. So like I was saying with my husband, after his chemo finished, I said, I don't really think I want you to go back to work. Just our perspective on life was not just like, go get a job just because. We do everything with purpose now. And this opportunity has taught me how to grow on a personal level like you wouldn't even believe. I've mastered my mind where I truly believe that I can become an unstoppable force to overcome anything that life throws at me. Like, universe, bring it on. I get it. I got it. And although it's hard at times, through this journey of personal growth, I've learned that I can do anything. And so we decided to keep him home, and we invested in equipment for him to start his own clothing business. And so I think back to just 3.5 years ago when I was like, I'm broke. I want to get healthy. I need to work out. Where is my life going? I lost my corporate job. And here I am telling you that now, like, I earn a high 6-figure income and my husband's home and I love my job and I want everyone to live their life with vibrancy. It blows my mind still to this day. So again, I'm so thankful and grateful for it. I'm like shaking, and it's so crazy to me that in this day and age, anyone can do this. You start at ground zero, you have a day one, and all it is a decision. And you're going to sign up and say, what do I do? You'll figure it out. You have to have the confidence and remind yourself that me, Rachel, Dana, Elizabeth, Rachel, we've all done it. That means that you can too. And so now I get to hand it off to one of my other faves, Natalie Bailey, who has also blown me away with her business, and she's changing tons of lives. So go for it, girlfriend.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay? Thumbs up. Elizabeth, you're the only one I can see. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So, hi, I'm Natalie Bailey. I'm also 6'6". so I don't usually sound this hoarse. But I wanted to come in here and say that I'm the shy one of the bunch, the introverted one. So to come in here and be able to be like, yes, you can run a successful business, you know, not having this super outgoing personality, you know, to think you might not fit in here like I did. It's absolutely possible. So this is 100% out of my comfort zone. I've been speaking on calls for 3 years, doing this business for 3 years, and this stuff still makes me want to throw up. So, but you overcome those fears. It's what makes you stronger, and it's what makes you better. I came into this business, like I said, 3 years ago, and it started as a physical transformation for me. I was fresh out of college. My husband and I had just gotten married, and he's in the military. So we relocated to Florida for his first duty station. And while there, I through that transition, through moving, through trying to find a job in my undergrad, in my my major, just the stress of everything, that all of the transitions, you know, I had gained 30 pounds in 6 months, and I was now in a job that had nothing to do with what I went to school for, and I was absolutely miserable in that job. And I would come home every day, just, you know, I did the 9 to 5, came home, complained about my day, you know, made dinner, attempted some sort of exercise, got my clothes ready for work in the morning, sat down with my husband to watch a show, got up, did it all over again. And that was my life. And I remember sitting in this office in my desk job, kind of looking at the clock every single day, saying, this can't be what my life is. This can't be it. I can't sit here for another 30, 40, 50 years, you know, retire and say that this is what I did. I felt like I was worth so much more. I had so much more to give. I just felt like there was more. So, you know, I figured with this opportunity for me, what it was I knew that if I could control anything in my life in that moment, that it was myself. And I was 100% insecure and unhappy within myself, and I had nothing that fit. And, you know, I never wanted to go on dates with my husband or go out in public because I didn't want people to see the person that I had become. This was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. I had just gotten married to my high school sweetheart, my dream man. We just moved in together for the first time. We relocated, we started this life, and here I am, secretly the most miserable I've ever been. So I am a huge Beachbody fan. I did Insanity through college, and got Insanity ready for my wedding. And then when I found out about, you know, when I started this transition with my life and gained all that weight, I saw that infomercial for Shaun T's T25. I knew that I had 25 minutes a day to really exercise and devote myself. And if I could just get this 25 minutes and regain that confidence back, that, you know, I could change my life. And I remember starting it and stopping it and starting it and stopping it and failing over and over and over again. I couldn't get through a week of this program. I'm dying. I'm sore. I'm making excuses. I want to go have a beer. It's happy hour. I want to do this. I can't commit. And I still had never heard about the coaching opportunity until one day, my coach and one of my besties was on social media talking about how she worked for Beachbody and how she was a coach. And I immediately was drawn to her because, number one, I really needed accountability. And number two, how the hell do you work for Beachbody? Like, I want to work for Beachbody because if you could make a living working out, I would definitely commit to that. I love exercise. I was always an athlete growing up, surrounded by athletes, my husband, my sister, my brother-in-law, all athletic. And that was just a really cool thing for me. So from the beginning, I came into this ready to become a coach. And I wrote down, I actually found this piece of paper that I keep with me. And it was actually what I wrote down the first week that I started coaching 3 years ago in February. And it was a little bit about my why. So you come into this business and it's typically physically related, right? You want to lose weight, or you want to tone up, or you want to feel better about yourself, or you're sick of not having anything to wear, right? You have those goals. But when you allow yourself to open the door to come into like the business side of it, and you surround yourself with this community, it doesn't take long for you to become a believer. It doesn't take long for you to see that the people in all these little boxes, like we're real, you know, that this company is real, that this business is real, and that there's a really, truly awesome opportunity here. So my first week, guys, I was dreaming big because I really wanted out of that job that I hated. I really wanted out of that life that I felt like I had just fallen into accidentally, and now I was stuck. So I wrote on this paper that, you know, income was really important to me. Mason, my husband's Mason, we had a lot of student loan debt and a lot of credit card debt. we said that we wanted to start saving for a family, and that the amount of debt that we had with the time that we wanted to start having kids, it wasn't adding up. Like, we would just completely be digging ourselves way deeper in a hole. I said that this was a great opportunity for my lifestyle, because I travel so much. So why wouldn't I want a job that I could pick up and take with me anywhere, where I didn't have to start over? I said this was a great way to change my life, because although I had a wonderful life, I have an amazing family, I have an amazing husband, you know, I really felt like there's so much more to me, and there was so much growth that I could still pursue, and I just didn't know how to find it or who to reach out to, or I just felt like I wanted to be a better person. And last but not least, I said on here that the thought of seeing somebody's before and after picture and knowing that I made that happen, because I was brave enough to go on my journey. I was brave enough to share my vulnerabilities and my insecurities, that I was able to impact one life to be able to do the exact same thing. And, you know, that's how it starts. That's how it started for me. I didn't think that I would be here 3 years later at home, working in business, sitting in an office in a beautiful home that we bought last year, with our daughter, 9 months old, sleeping in her room down the hallway, and just this life that has just totally been not by accident, but something that we have created as a family intentionally and on purpose, because we truly finally went after what we always knew that we wanted and deserved in our lives. And I tried to think, you know, what would my life look like if I didn't? What would my life look like if I never said yes? If I never, you know, went through the up and down roller coaster that is being an entrepreneur, that is being a Beachbody coach, if I just allowed myself to continue sitting at that desk every single day, completely unfulfilled, where would I be right now? And, you know, through all the judgment, through all the criticism, through everything that I've had to go through and overcome, I can 100% tell you that it was worth it, because sitting here right now in this chair, knowing that I was able to overcome all of that and not be stuck in that situation, and not be having to, you know, write that story and that life, I just feel incredibly blessed. And I thank that girl every single day from 3 years ago, who was brave enough to say yes, who was brave enough to share this on social media, regardless of what people would think, who was brave enough to actually take the time to be coachable and transform her life and give that gift to somebody else and help somebody else transform their life. Overall, this has just been absolutely life-changing. And I wouldn't be the person that I am today without it. The growth through this, guys, like the income, yeah, it's amazing. You know, I make more in a week than I did in a month in my corporate job, and that's all well and good and amazing, and I'm so blessed for that. But what I can tell you is that the mental and emotional change that happens is above and beyond anything else. And I can honestly sit here and say that I am proud of the person that I am becoming and have become, and I'm proud to lead a team that is doing the exact same thing, that is growing and that is changing and that is pushing the limits and that is going after what they want, and just achieving greatness with their life. So it has been an honor, and just truly humbled every single day by this opportunity, humbled that I still get to wake up every day and just share my own story. You know, this now 3 years later, hot mess mom over here trying to keep it together while she's single mom in it because her husband's deployed. And I swear to you that I could not do this if I didn't have Beachbody. If Beachbody was not a part of my life, I would not be able to endure these you know, trials that I've gone through. So I owe it all to that. I owe it to my coach for believing in me when I was like literally the most stubborn person to onboard in this process. I was skeptical of every single reason. My husband was skeptical. My family was skeptical. But just over time of just really educating myself and just being a product of the product and believing in the company and the mission and knowing that how much this can impact others, and to look at my team and see all the beautiful people that I get to work with every single day, and knowing how just because I was sharing my story, you know, now they get to share theirs too. So my time's up. I get to introduce my next fave, Kathy. She is a beautiful soul inside and out. She came into this business actually a few months after I did, and she was somebody that came in and ran with it. So can't wait for you guys to hear her. Kathy, you're up.
Okay. I am here. Oh, good. I'm on. All right. Hey, guys. If I look like a disheveled mess, we actually just got back from the road trip home from South Carolina. So I literally just walked in the door, but I am here. And I'm super pumped to be able to talk to you guys. I'm Kathy Reuter, and you guys have had so many incredible coaches talk to you guys tonight about how this has changed their lives. And I've been looking forward to this for literally the past week. I couldn't wait to get on here. But I wanted to start off by saying that, you know, it doesn't really matter where you are right now or what has happened in your past. No matter where you are, what has happened, that does not dictate the rest of your life and your future. And how many of you guys have felt like you were totally stuck before? Like you just felt like there is no way out. And the life that you were living, it was just like the world was up against you. I'm sure that you guys can relate. You just feel like things just are never going to change. And honestly, that was me almost 3 years ago, guys, before I became a coach. I had been a teacher for 10 years. I had my master's degree in special education, but I had stopped doing that to be a stay-at-home mom because my dream was always just to be home with my kids. I wanted to be able to be there with my kids, be present, and enjoy every single moment, even the crazy ones, just like my mom did for me. And so I was home with the kids, and I'll never forget, almost 3 years ago now, I remember just feeling like a total disappointment. I just remember feeling like a total failure because I was standing literally in my foyer of my home. We're in the process of moving now, so it looks a little crazy. But I remember being in the foyer of our home, and I had my 4-month-old daughter, Kirsten, like all swaddled up in, you know, that white fleece Velcro swaddle sack, you know, and I was bouncing her. And I had my other son, my son Landon, who was 22 months old, just like running around. And I was home with them, and my husband came in and had said to me, you know, Kathy, you know, we've been living with our heads in the sand now for so long. I know you really want to be able to stay home with the kids, and we're doing everything we can. Like, you're tutoring. I'm, you know, working my full-time corporate job. I am, you know, running 4 other businesses on the side, and there's nothing we can do. You're going to have to go back to your teaching job. And I just remember that huge sick pit in my stomach, like that pit that I had, just that lump in my throat. And just all these thoughts were going through my mind. Like, I just imagined myself having to go back to teaching now, put the kids in the car and drop them off at a daycare. And that was not okay with me. That just wasn't. That was never what I wanted for my life and for my family. And at this time, guys, because I was being a stay-at-home mom with the kids, we were making tons of sacrifices. But you know how hard it is, right? If you give up one full-time income and go down to one, even though my husband had a great job, you know, we racked up $35,000 worth of credit card debt. We were sinking by $1,000 every single month, and we were doing everything we could to make it work, and things were not changing. And that's where I was when this opportunity was presented to me. I was literally 35 pounds overweight. I felt completely unmotivated. At this point, I felt like a total loser. I felt like such a failure. What am I going to tell my family? I'm so embarrassed. How could this happen to us? I can't believe we actually went down this path. You know, all I ever wanted to do is be able to stay at home with the kids, to now all of a sudden hearing this, because I was living with my head in the sand for so long. And so that's where I was, guys, when I heard about coaching. And I'm kind of one to jump right into things if it sounds like something fun, especially when I heard about this, because when I heard that it was with a team, you know, I was like, I love teams because I've always been on sports my whole life. So this seems right up my alley. And I had done P90X like 9 years ago with my husband, and we had gotten to the best shape of our life. So I was like, let's do it. But my husband was really skeptical because, you know, he has all the business background. And so for 3 months, I dragged my feet. We finally got to the point, guys, where we said, you know what, this is the last hurrah. And the day that I signed up to become a coach, the day I committed to this, my back was up against the wall, guys. Like, I was in sheer desperation. There was no plan B. Like, this was it. It was either I do whatever it takes to make this business work, or I leave my kids and I go back to work. And that couldn't happen. So I got into this, guys, and I treated it like a business. And I listened to everybody else on our team that was having success, and I just did it. But I fell in love with it along the way, guys. Like, it was so much fun. And still to this day, almost 3 years later, I love it just as much. I wake up really excited. I have to force myself still to go to bed at night because I could stay up all night long working on this. The friends that we've made along the way, the lives that we've impacted, my life and our life for our family, guys, is totally different now because of coaching. Literally, it has changed so much. We are living completely freely right now, guys. Like all that debt that we had before, it's all gone. It's all gone because of coaching. Like we're able to just take these trips like all over the place when we want to because of Beachbody and because of coaching and because I took it seriously and really believed in it. And my number one priority was to be home with the kids, guys. That was I didn't even need any of these financial things to happen at all. I just wanted to be able to earn a couple $100s every week so I could keep staying home with them. That was it. When I got into this, guys, what I realized is that this can be anything that you want it to be. You have the power and the control to change the entire course of your life, and that no one should ever settle. And I was settling before because I had a good life. Even though I had all that financial stress, I still had a good life, but I was settling. And my whole thing is live your best life. I have it on all my team shirts on the back of them. Live your best life because you deserve that. And now, guys, because of this, because I never gave up and because I just love this so much, almost 3 years later now, my 3-year mark will be on June 26th. We've been able to just be completely free. We sold our house in Massachusetts and we were able to go and take a 3-week trip that I just came back from. We went to Florida for a week. We found our dream home down there. Then we spent some time in Myrtle Beach visiting my family. Then we went to Punta Cana with the whole family from a Beachbody trip. And it was all these things that we were able to do in this flexibility because of this. Like, how cool is that? Now, the other day, right when we came back from Punta Cana, I want to tell you something. The other day, my husband got a call from his job letting them know that they were letting him go. They were laying him off, which came as a shock. And you know what, guys? Because of this, I am not worried. Nick and I are totally fine. Like, we're just sitting back over here like, this is awesome because it doesn't even matter. If this had happened maybe 3 years ago, then we would have been totally in like tons of trouble. But now, because of Beachbody, because we don't have any of that credit card debt and we are debt free, and because of the income that we are earning now, it's a full-time job for me. It's a full-time career. We're okay. And it was because I took a chance on this. So my thing that I want to tell you guys is that you can do anything. If you aren't happy with where you are, you can do anything. You can change it. This could be that thing for you. And when opportunity comes knocking, always give it a shot and at least say you tried because you never knew. You never know what's going to happen. And 3 years ago, if you had told me that this is how our life would look now, right, I would have never believed it. There is no way I would have ever believed it. But when you get into something like this, where you are surrounded by so much positivity, like, it's so cool, guys, to be surrounded by so many uplifting people every single day. People who are helping you become better, who are lifting you up, who are encouraging you to go after more. And to know that you're a part of something that is truly changing lives. That is something really special, guys. It's really, really special to be a part of a company like this, that the sole focus is on people. So give it a shot. Reach out to whoever added you to this. Thank you guys so much for listening. Sorry I'm a disheveled mess right now. I'm glad I was able to talk to you guys. We love you all. You guys, just remember, you deserve nothing but the best. And thank you for listening to me. I'm going to be handing it over now to Nicole O'Neill. She's such a sweet, kind soul, guys. You're going to love hearing from her. So whenever you're ready, Nicole, you can go ahead and hop on here. Have a great night, guys.
You guys hear me? No. Unmute it. Can you hear me now?
You just sound far away. Do you have headphones plugged in?
I don't. Let me put you guys closer. Is that better?
Could be my volume. Just
I'll
talk loud. Just talk loud.
Really loud, which might be a problem because of my voice. All right. So, hey, guys, I'm Nicole. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Like, we know that this is kind of a commitment from you guys, and it's kind of hard for us to open up our hearts, but it's what we're so passionate about. So we just, from the bottom of our hearts to your hearts, like, thank you. So summarizing what this opportunity has done for my life in 10 minutes is going to be really hard, but I'm going to do my best. And truthfully, it's because this opportunity has changed my whole life. More than that, it's given me life. And I know that might sound really deep, but it's true. So kind of hear me out here, okay? So I'm 31 and I am a 3-time cancer survivor. And I still get like shaky when I say that, and it's hard to believe kind of what I've gone through over the last like 5 years. But truthfully, I feel as though life has always kind of tried to knock me down. And this opportunity has been with me through a lot of it. And it's the reason why I've been able to fight through so much of it. And so I feel as though I got to take you like way back to understand, because it truly is a journey. And it's not that we're all talking about the opportunity and where we are now, but we've all gone through so much to get to where we are now. And I think it's really impactful to show how it can be with you at different phases of your life. So when I was first asked to be part of this, my initial thought was like, me, really? Are you serious? And that's just because even at this point, though I've grown so much, I still struggle with self-doubt and self-worth. And I didn't have the best childhood, and I never really had people who believed in me or who built me up. And so I've always kind of just struggled to believe I am anyone of any real significance. And that's like hard, and something I've realized later in my life that I'm constantly trying to overcome, but it's true. And so because of my childhood, I started working at a really young age. I was pretty much a workaholic as soon as I could, because my one thing I could control was getting out of the situation I was in by working really hard and trying to control my finances. So I knew I wanted to overcome the terrible childhood, which I won't even go into, but so I just worked as much as I could, as soon as I could. When I was 14, I worked 3 jobs through college. And I now realize that work was how I identified myself. It was truly, it was where I tried to find my self-worth. And so I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I went to college, I worked, I found this job after school that seems like my dream job. And I was so excited to get it, and I put in 110%. Like, I went above and beyond for these people, you wouldn't believe it. But I loved it at the time. And so in my mid-20s, I faced my first round with melanoma. And this was kind of when my first crash, if you will. I now joke that everything I've been through has kind of been the universe trying to like seriously wake me up in life, because I think I was mostly living in a survivor mindset for a majority of my life. But so my first scare melanoma, I hit a wall, and this might sound really superficial, but for someone who's always struggled with self-confidence, being tan, being blonde, it made me feel good. It gave me that confidence. And all of a sudden that was taken away. I dyed my hair jet black. I got extensions. I went through my like first quarter life crisis. And I found P90X. And that was my first interaction with Beachbody. And so what that did for me was it kind of taught me the power of fitness over your life. How fitness helps you set goals and feel good from the inside out. And so it gave me this little boost. And so at that point, I was still really happy with my job, but it helped me get to a point where I started to feel good about me from the inside out. And I fell in love with fitness. And that's when I first got started to Beachbody. A little while later, my mother passed away. And so my mother was, this might sound harsh, but my goal in life is to be anything other than my mother. And I know that sounds terrible. It makes me sound heartless, but it's true. And it's only because she went through so much in her own life, and I feel as though she wasted a lot of her life. And so when she passed away, it opened my eyes to the question of what is my purpose? And I don't know if any of you guys have ever been at that point, but that is a deep question. If you are in a job where you feel as though you're lacking purpose, it eats away at your soul. And so that was when I first started to question a lot of that about my life. And that's when my coach Liz first started like peppering me with coaching. Truthfully, like, I still loved my job at that point, so I didn't take it seriously, but I was like, all right, I'll do this a little part-time as a hobby. And so it gave me that sense of fulfillment, where I was in a good job, but I had this fulfillment of helping other people tap into the power of fitness. And so that's where it started for me. It was just something fun that made me feel good about myself and about other people. And that was really powerful. Then about a couple months later, I had my second scare with cancer. At this point, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, really, are you serious? So I had melanoma for the second time. And this is where I was kind of like, wow, life is really precious. Am I wasting my life? Like, am I really doing what I'm capable of doing? And so that's when it just felt like something was off. So even though, I had climbed the ladder at work, and I was at the point now where that dream job, like, I got to this point and it wasn't what I wanted. I owned my own house. Like, I was in a relationship. Like, from the outside looking in, it seemed like life was good. But inside, there was still something that was missing. And I still hadn't found my self-worth or believe in myself. I was living according to kind of how I thought I was supposed to live. And I now say kind of living according to my head as opposed to my heart. And so that was when like my world started to spin. And my grandmother, who was kind of like my shining light in life, she called me out on this, and she always knew that I wanted to have my own business of some sorts. And so she challenged me to start coming up with different ideas of things I could do, which looking back on it was like the sweetest thing ever. Unfortunately, her health took a serious downward spiral like the day after that conversation, and our priorities became much different. And so as terrible as my childhood was, my grandmother was my shining light, and she is the reason I am the person I am today. And so she raised me to be very independent and to not ever really ask for help. But here was this woman who I would have done anything to help. And she couldn't take care of herself. It was, if you've ever lost someone close to you, it shatters your world. And so that's when I kind of opened my eyes to being of help to other people, like what it can do to actually try to take away the pain of others. And I kind of fell in love with that. And when she passed away, my world truly crumbled, and I had this weight on my shoulders, not only of, wow, life is so precious, I need to do something that matters, but also now I had this call in from her, you know, like, do something more, like you're capable of more, you're holding yourself back, like you're not happy. What would make you happy? So at this point, I saw my coach loving life as a full-time Beachbody coach and changing people's lives, and she was trying to be there for me to change mine, and I just couldn't see the light. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. Like, I've been doing it part-time, dabbling here and there. I love the products. I had been using the products, and you know, I am a girly girl at heart, guys, and I never had any athletic confidence, and these programs helped me to not only get in the best shape of my life, but I've done a triathlon. I have a tiny torso, and I had abs on my 30th birthday, which was like, hell fucking yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, but anyway, that's off the tangent. So my grandmother passed away, and I was like, I'm going to do this. Ironically enough, about a month later, this dream job that I had invested like 8 years in at this point and worked, there was one point where I went 28 days without a day off. I worked morning, nights, weekends. I gave this job my own. You would have thought it was my own. They laid me off, and it wasn't like 2 weeks notice. It was like, this is your last day. I got a severance package, but I was completely disposable. And it was just this wake up call of, wow, you know, like that can be taken away from me despite how hard I've worked. And so for me, I decided to do something on my own, and I wanted to create this community of place where people would feel part of something bigger than themselves and truly feel significance. And where I said I struggled with belief my whole life, my team became all about helping to believe in people before they believe in themselves. And so I started to learn about what it means to live. And I started to, yes, I've been able to do this full time for 2 years and build a business while living out my dream of travel in the world, and which is amazing because my grandmother, I feel so close to her when I travel. And so like that just fuels me and fills me up inside. But more than anything, it's taught me it's a journey where you learn who you are and what you're truly made of and how to keep fighting when life tries to knock you down. It helps you find something more in yourself. And it might sound strange because it starts with fitness, but it's truly a foundation that builds and builds and builds. And your business and your life will only grow as much as you grow. And so you constantly have to be elevating yourself. And so I joke now that this like last 2 years I've been living out like my own eat, pray, love. But it's true because you discover so much about who you are and how to be truly happy on your own. But guys, the truly impactful thing that I've now realized about this business is, so when I finally got on my 2 feet again, I had my third scare with thyroid cancer this last year. And it was like a punch in the face. And at that point where I had gone through, 2 rounds of cancer, losing my mom, my grandmother, my job, that relationship that I thought was great, all within like a 2.5 year span. And I was like, one more, I don't know if I can do this. And I went to this really low point in my life where I was like, what's the point? And it was scary. But because I had gone to a point where I knew how to take care of myself and self-compassion, I had built my business to a point where I could take a little step back and focus on me and my own self-care and my own health and not feel guilty about it and know that that's a priority. If you don't take care of you, you can't take care of anyone else. I was able to get through that. And the true power of that is when I did get back to feeling like myself again. What we offer people, what I like to think we offer people with this opportunity is there is so much uncontrollable in life. You never know what's going to try to knock you down. And not only does this give you true fundamentals and habits to help you continue to fight for what means the most to you, but it gives you a little bit of control over that uncontrollable. So that, God forbid, your child faces a serious illness, or you face cancer, or you lose your job. If you put in the passion and the heart and the hustle to truly build a business that is all about helping other people elevate their lives, it gives you so much control over those uncontrollable situations where you can be there for the things that mean the most to you. And so I think that's the most powerful thing you can give to people in this world. And so I like to think as a coach, what we do to start, it starts with you, is you want to be someone who inspires greatness in others. And what we do is we try to help you find something more in yourself so that you can truly make the most of your life. Because I hate to say it, but that is one of the scariest and deepest questions, but I've had to face it 3 times now. What if I die? And that's deep, but are you living the life that you would want to be living if your time is truly that limited? So that's my message for you guys. Sorry I got all deep. I swear I'm really positive and bubbly. And I talk really fast, but I'm going to turn it over now to Jessica, who also has a truly inspiring story. And I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. This is so amazing. I have just seen up everyone's stories. So hi, my name is Jessica Lanier. I'm streaming from Mexico. If you can't tell by this Mexican blanket in my background. So hopefully the internet and everything is good. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to dive in here really quick and let you know a little bit about me. See, it's cutting in and out, isn't working. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Sorry, you guys, internet's a little sketchy. This is the best that I had. Is it still cutting in and out? Shoot.
Yeah,
I thought I was good.
It's still a little fuzzy for us. You're frozen, but your voice is coming in and out a little bit.
Let me try and see if this is better without you. Can you hear me any better?
Yeah, I think so. Try now.
All right, we'll try this. So sorry, you guys.
That's
When
okay.
in
This is
Mexico.
better. This is better.
Okay, good. Okay, so we'll do audio. So again, my name is Jessica Lanier. I've been a coach now for a little bit over a year. So I'm one of the more newbies to the group, and this is totally, completely rocked my family's world in the last year, and I'm so stoked to tell you guys about it. So first, a little bit about me. I am a full-time registered nurse in a prison, actually, which is very interesting. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to quit that in the next year and do coaching full-time. I have a crazy, super cute little 16-month-old boy, and I'm married to my best friend. So I got into health, really, it started when I was 11. When I was 11, I was in a motorcycle accident. Me and my dad were hit by a drunk driver on my 11th birthday, actually, and put me into a coma for a week. I was on life support, wasn't expected to make it. I actually lost my dad in the incident, and through all of that growing and healing process, I realized that I really wanted to help people with the experience that I had been through. And I know that sounds crazy for an 11-year-old, but the medical issues through and the experiences that I went through, I realized at a young age how much I could help people potentially, at that age, I thought, as a doctor or as a nurse in the medical field, because they really did help me so much through my healing. And so that's when I decided that I was going to be, at the time I thought a doctor. As I grew older, I decided I wanted to be a registered nurse, and that's what I went to schooling for. Fast forward years, and after going through nursing school, I was super sick. I had horrible hormone issues and digestive problems, and doctors figured me out, and nutrition and more different holistic modalities to help heal myself. And I learned a ton through that. And in doing that, I was a health coach. I did this online program, $5,000 per year, and I learned a ton, but more I learned to help other And I really attended this. So, there are, as you guys know, there's a lot of different health information on there, all of it very conflicting. Sorry, still breaking up, huh? Anybody? Hopefully. Okay, you can't hear me at all. Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Okay, guys, I'm going to hop in for a sec because she's in Mexico and she still was kind enough to hop on with us. And we have to figure out how to get you guys to hear her story because it is one of the most powerful and impactful stories that I've ever heard. I don't know if you guys heard in the beginning when she was talking, but she was saying that when she was 11 years old, she was in a motorcycle accident with her father, and she was in a coma, not expected to live. And then when she came out of it, they weren't sure if she would ever even walk again. And now she's living this incredible life as a mom and as a leader in coaching. And in the first year of coaching, she also lost her father in that accident. And for someone who has gone through something like that at such a young age, Jessica is someone that I look up to in every way, as a mother, as a wife, as a coach. Even though she's only been doing it for a year and I've been doing it for 5 years, I still look to her because what she has done and what she does every day, guys, she works in a prison, isn't exactly the most positive of environments. And every day at like 4 a.m., she gets up to get her workout in because that's her level of commitment. Or she wakes up that early so that she can check in with her coaches or the people on her team or the people that she's helping to get to their goals. She just sees this, she's just a ray of light, and she's constantly seeking to make everyone else's life better. And as a result, she's building a business in like that much time that is changing her life. I love when I get emails from Jessica because she loves to like keep me up to date on everything, and it's my favorite thing in the world. And a week or two ago, she shared with me the income that she made in that week and how it was the biggest yet with Beachbody. And it was like, she's getting there. She's going to be able to replace her income in her full-time job so that she can be home with her family and with her incredibly adorable son, Logan. And it's such a gift to watch her do that. But one of the coolest things as a coach for me has been seeing how quickly she just leapt in with both feet before she knew all the details. So often we think we need to know everything before we get started. And instead she just said, I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna work on me. I'm gonna get healthy again. And I'm just gonna try and help some other people along the way. And all of a sudden she built something so incredible. And I've had this goal forever when I started coaching to be on what's called the National Wake Up Call. It's this call that Beachbody Corporate puts on, and they pick the top coaches in the company to share their journey and how they got to where they are. Because we all start at the bottom, but somehow some people become incredibly successful. So what did they do to get there? Well, Jessica, 1 year, now it took me like 3 or 4 years to finally achieve that goal. Jessica did it in her first year as a coach, and she blew everyone away. She was on that call just a few weeks ago, inspiring the masses. And like I said, I'm going to personally invite Jessica on when she's home from her vacation in Mexico so she can share her journey, because I'm not doing it justice in the slightest bit. But just know that she's a prime example of what it looks like to come into this, have almost zero time. She has no free time. And she came into this and she's built a successful business that's, you know, paying her mortgage and supporting her family, that she will soon be able to leave her job because of it. And it's incredible to watch. So Jessica, I'm sorry your service was spotty and I had to take over because I know everyone would much prefer to hear this from you, but we'll be graced with your presence soon, I'm sure, when you get home from vacation. Enjoy the rest of your time. Don't come back too tan because we'll be jealous. And now I get to hand it over to someone who continually blows me away. Candace Rogers is just the bomb. Like, follow her on social media and you will see what a transformation truly is. And I'm not even just talking about her physical transformation, which is incredible, who she has chosen consciously to become by using this coaching opportunity and this platform to just become a better person. And at the same time, build an income for her family and change a lot of lives along the way. So Candace, I'm going to mute and let you take over here.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? I can see you, Liz, if you could. Okay, say. Awesome. Thank you. Well, hi, guys. My name is Candace Rogers. I've been a coach for almost 3 years now. I was at a point of my life where I was so unhappy with my situation. I was unhappy in my relationship and unhappy with my job, with myself in general. I would spend hours online shopping, just buying things I didn't need with money I didn't have to fill a void. I always felt like I had a void, and I'm going to be super emotional tonight. So just to let you know, I'm bringing all the feels. I always felt like I had a void in life that I was always trying to fill with either, buying things or drinking. And those were my two kind of go-to. So because I'm a huge skeptic, I research everything, and it took me a year of watching my coach be completely consistent and showing me, with her actions, what she was doing, that this was actually possible and that it was real, that I actually signed up. I was the person that was like, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. But yet, like I said, I was going out spending all this money that I didn't have at the bars and online shopping and just wherever, because I was trying to fill that void. It just didn't click for me yet that bettering myself was the thing to make me better, but we all come into this opportunity at different parts of our lives. So during that year, I listened to everyone around me literally tell me that coaching was a scam. And it scared me because I didn't want to fail, but I also kind of believed them, even though I don't know why, because I've learned now that I don't take advice from people that don't have something or aren't achieving something in life that I want, right? So my coach kept believing in me, and I'm forever grateful for that because I wouldn't be here otherwise. She followed up with me for like an entire year. So that's crazy, right? So an entire year, I was like, no. But when I finally did this, I signed up as a coach. I saw this opportunity for what it was, a way to change my life, because I had finally hit rock bottom and I was so miserable and unhappy. I literally hit the ground running and I did not look back. Like Dana said, no plan B for me. When I first started, so about 3 years ago, as a new coach, I'm all over the place, so bear with me. I had a long distance marriage relationship with my husband. We were 2.5 hours apart. We didn't live together Monday through Friday because he took a job opportunity that was out of town after he was fired from the job that he busted his ass for at a place I also worked. It was really freaking awkward for me to stay there knowing that they did that to him. But that was life for me, and all I really ever knew was struggle. So he took that job to continue to primarily support our family. So I worked really hard, 40 hours a week, but I didn't make near enough money to pay for much really of anything, as opposed to like bills. I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't afford anything because I was making basically minimum wage at most of my jobs in the town that I lived in. That was just my life, paycheck to paycheck. All I ever knew was struggle. That was normal for me. So every Sunday, I watched him leave as I stood in the doorway. And I remember he was driving a red truck back then, and I watched it go around the corner until I couldn't see it anymore. And then I would burst into tears. And in my mind, I would be like, I really hope he forgot something. Please let him have forgotten something so he'll come back. And then I could see him just one more time. Never did, because he was always in a rush, because he always had to get back to the Bay Area, 2.5 hours away before traffic, so that way he could make it on time. And I got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't handle everybody asking me, isn't it so hard, Candace, being separated? I couldn't do it. So I turned off my feelings. I flipped the switch, like, we're not going to deal with that anymore. And I put it all under the rug and I ignored it. I turned it off. But when you numb the bad, you numb the good. So I was basically a zombie living a life that I just was miserable in. And I was just walking around and saying, no, I'm fine. Everything's great. Our relationship is great. And I've learned through coaching, my love language is quality time. We had none of that. I was lacking feeling loved. And I know he did too. On the weekends, when we got to see each other, we would fight and argue. And if we weren't fighting or arguing, we were just too exhausted to do anything. So we would sit in his room that he rented, just laying in bed, sitting there. Like, it was so awkward being in someone else's home, but like that was our reality, and we didn't see a way out. Our bills started to pile up. Like, so big we couldn't pay our rent. We were paying for the commute, just the gas in that truck that he was driving, and then double grocery bills, double rent, double food, just everything. We couldn't afford it. I had to move out of my house mid-month because I knew I couldn't pay the rent if it came around, on the 1st. So I found someone to come and take over my my rent, and that was really embarrassing because I had to move back in with my parents alone, without my husband. And that kind of sucks being an adult. Like, I'm grateful that they let me and they had the room for me, but as an adult and a married woman, you don't want to go back and live at your parents' house with your 2 dogs in a cramped little room, So it was just like a slap in the face. So, a month or 2 went by and I realized, I can't live with my parents anymore. This is ridiculous. I rented a room from a friend. And so now both of us were renting rooms in someone else's house. And it was just like, we never had privacy. Our situation got so bad between fighting and the weekly separation. It's like we were leading 2 separate lives, honestly. And we had a complete disconnection. We really didn't even know each other. We discussed divorce, which is really painful to talk about, because if it wasn't for coaching, we would not be married still. And I can confidently say that because it was that bad and it was that painful. And you guys remember me saying I cut off even feeling it. So I wasn't even acknowledging the feelings. Like, I wasn't even willing to work on it because I couldn't even acknowledge what was happening. We felt really hopeless. And that was rock bottom. And then enter coaching. When I first started digging for my why as a new coach, it was really painful for me because I shut off all those feelings and I really, really had to dig deep and realize I want to be a wife again. Like, my reality was too painful to face at that time, and I needed to be a wife again. I wanted my best friend back. So from discovering that initial reason to fast forward a year into my coaching business, literally on a whim, my husband and I decided to look into RV living because we just were like, why not? Because we were now like possibility thinkers rather than scarcity mindset, like we always were before. We never thought we could do anything. Everyone told us not to do it. They said we'd be miserable, we'd get sick of each other, we'd be too close. We were like, we're already living in someone else's room. Like, I really don't see how it could get worse than that, to be honest with you. So if it wasn't for coaching and personal development every day, I wouldn't have a strong enough mind to have ignored the opinions of others and just gone for what I wanted. I wouldn't be here right now in this RV, living with my husband, getting to see him Monday through Friday. And you guys don't realize how much I took that for granted before getting to see him. And then I had to go 2 years not seeing him. And then sometimes on the weekends, I still wouldn't see him because he had to work. So when I first became a coach, I really feel like my blindfold was taken off my eyes and I could see the world differently. And I finally started to feel hope again. I started to feel like, wow, like, I don't have to settle for this. This long distance marriage doesn't have to be for the rest of my life, because before coaching, I really thought it was. I was like, well, this is just my life. This sucks. I guess I'm going to be alone forever. I didn't even want to have kids because I'm like, I don't want to be a single parent, because that's basically what I would be when he was gone. So I like completely X'd that option out. And now we talk about it all the time. But so after a year, I was able to move from my hometown to live with my husband because coaching allowed me to be a wife again. It allows me to soak up the quality time with my husband I deserve and actually have a home to call our own. Like, I didn't have a home like that was ours when I first started. And that sucked, just to be able to do typical husband and wife things, like maybe I wanted to walk from my room to the bathroom naked, like you don't realize how you take those things for granted until you don't have them anymore. And I truly believe that if it wasn't for coaching and everything this opportunity encompasses, we would not be together. This opportunity allows me to give back in so many ways to my husband I never imagined. For almost our entire marriage, he's kept us afloat bills-wise. And now I'm able to contribute. I'm able to pay off debt. I'm able to take him on paid for vacations. I'm able to support us in the way where if he gets sick for a week, he doesn't have to go to work and feel like he has to, or else we'll drown, because he never used to take time off before. And just a couple weeks ago, he was feeling sick and he told me, yeah, I feel comfortable now because like you're actually making money. And it's crazy because he thought this was a scam in the beginning too. And now he's my biggest supporter. And it's all because I just showed up every single day. I've remained coachable and I quit caring about what others thought. I put all my time and energy into building my coaching business while I worked a 40-hour work week. I did it on my breaks, on my lunch. I did it anytime I could because I deserved to be a wife again. You know, I deserve to build a life I love and something I wanted. Whew. So yeah, that's part of my story. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. And now it is, who is it? Amanda's next, I think. So thank you.
Thanks so much. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So, wow, I don't even know how to follow all those stories. I think if you guys are like me, you probably connected to at least one or two or more pieces of everyone's story. So I'm just totally blown away. And to be honest with you, I was kind of the last person to sign up for a time slot, mainly because I was scared. So this business for me has really taught me to face my fears head on and fight for what you want. And I'm so glad that I signed up when I did. For anybody that's thinking about signing up, the sooner the better, because you will be able to build the strength and the confidence you need to get through some of the biggest trials of your life. And for me, growing up, I didn't have a ton of trials. I was a good student. I grew up as a ballet dancer. I was very disciplined, and all of that. So I had all of that. But I think as time went on, I was also very shy. So I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. And that's always been something that I've had to work on. So this opportunity has really forced me to come out of my comfort zone, and also with the support, which is huge with something like Team Beachbody, is the support that you have and the people that are cheering you on and saying that you can do this. I used to work in corporate in marketing, and I never had people that would give me opportunities to speak. I was always the one taking notes, and I was always the one behind the scenes. And so this has really forced me to become really a better me. Challenged me in so many ways that my corporate career didn't. And although I was building specific skills there, this just brings a whole new level to learning about myself and to pouring into other people. A lot of people go to management courses and things like that, but when you're really working one-on-one with people, and you really start to learn how to become a better leader for yourself so that you can help more people. And so that's really been such an eye-opening aspect of this business that I haven't been able to get from corporate. So, I was definitely nervous about doing this. I want you guys to know that you might think that I don't want to share on social media. I see all these coaches sharing on social media. Your story does matter. Everyone has a story, and it deserves to be heard. You deserve to be heard. And so I guess, I should probably go into like the biggest, life changer which has really opened my eyes to jump in 100% to this business, because I did sign up in 2013. I floated around, I learned, I watched the power of this business financially. I've seen huge changes for all of the speakers that you've heard from. I've been able to watch them firsthand. So instead of watching, I decided, hey, you know what? Maybe I should start doing. And I really started to do that. And when I had Will in 2015, so 2 years ago now, it's like crazy how time flies. But I had Will, and he was my kind of game changer. He made me realize that if I wanted to go for it, the time is now. I have already kind of wasted some time thinking about this and being skeptical and everything else that everyone else thinks about this business when they first hear about it. And I decided, you know what do I have to lose? This is an amazing opportunity where I can, follow my dreams. I was a dancer. I can dance again. I can get back to the physical condition where I can physically perform on stage, on point, and do these things that I never thought I'd be able to do. So I think that was my driver for signing up. And then once I had Will, anyone that's ever given birth, you kind of feel like on top of the world, like you can do anything after you do that. And so I said, you know what, now's the time. Let's just do this. Let's jump in. And my business progressed very, very quickly. And I was very excited about it. Things were going amazingly well. And then Will was almost a year old at that point. So I had been, really going strong. And then I got this, so we went on vacation, came home. Very randomly one night, my husband woke up to me violently shaking and convulsing and eyes rolled back in my head, like exorcism type crazy stuff. And he thought, oh my God, she's dying. She has a stroke. She's having a seizure. I don't know what's going on. So he ended up calling the, 911. They showed up, all that stuff. So I was very confused. I was taken to the hospital. Nothing had ever been wrong with me before. I've been very healthy. I'd been doing these programs. I was so healthy. So I was so confused and shocked as to how, something like this could happen. Like what was so wrong? And so they ended up doing some scans on my brain. And then hours later, it seemed it was all a blur, but they ended up delivering the news that I had a brain tumor. And I was just like, I guess I was in shock because I was just like, this is such a curveball. This is crazy. So we ended up, talking to numerous doctors, going to MGH in Boston. And I was just about to hit this kind of major goal for myself and my business. And everything just felt like it came crashing down. And I thought to myself, how the heck am I going to pull this together? Now I have this news and now I'm going to have to get brain surgery and I might not even survive. Like, what's going to happen to my life? So, I ended up, we just moved forward. I moved forward the best that I could. And I ended up going through with the surgery pretty quickly. Luckily, I was healthy. I was able to recover, but I couldn't, do a lot of the physical activity I was doing before. So the recovery was a very long process. I couldn't pick up my almost 1-year-old son. So we had to arrange people to come to the house. And it was so painful. And I so badly wanted to take off and be able to help my coaches and help people change their lives. And then I thought, well, if I can't get a hold of my life, how am I supposed to help people with theirs? And so I realized that I had a choice. I could do what I had to do. And I could inspire people. I could inspire people with my journey. I could just press play on a workout. I could drink a shake. I could do that. And so I did what I could do. And in any situation that you guys go through, when you hit a hard time, it's thinking about the can. And, it's so funny because, we go through ups and downs, and here I am pregnant again. And the first time I got pregnant, I actually went inactive as a coach. And now I'm making this conscious choice to stay active, to inspire people, and to keep my health on track. Because the first time around, I was so miserable with where I was. And this platform has just given me the opportunity to stay positive, to stay healthy, to just overcome these crazy obstacles that have been thrown my way. And it just shows me that anything's possible and that you have to fight for what you want. So yeah, I had to start kind of back from scratch and kind of start rebuilding what I had done with my business. But in the process, I grew a lot, and I'm just so thankful for that. And I'm thankful for this opportunity, being able to continue to grow and help others and just watch their transformations and watch them grow as people. So I think, the power of this business is just, it's everything. It's your entire life. And it's also what it can do for your family. And that's been my vision all along is if I can't be there for them, especially health-wise, and, and what this business can provide, it just means the world to me. So I'm going to wrap it up and hand it back to Liz. But I really appreciate everybody listening to our stories. And I hope that somehow I could inspire you tonight. So have a great night.
Thanks, Amanda. I have to tell you guys, I've been listening this whole time, and this was just kind of on a whim. I just reached out to these coaches. They're incredible friends of mine. They're people I respect and admire. And I just said, like, what do you guys think about just sharing our stories? Like, real quick, kind of just putting it out there, because our lives have been touched and changed because of this opportunity, because of this community, because of the gifts that come with becoming a coach. And this might just be a nice way to show people what this is really about. Well, I never really anticipated the power behind what would be shared tonight. We didn't go over what we were going to talk about. I had no idea what any of these coaches were going to say. I know a lot of their stories because they're my good friends, but I had no clue that they'd be able to go as deep as they did and really to share in the way that they did, so selflessly, to show us what's really possible. And tonight, I was just texting my husband as I'm listening to the coaches. He's downstairs with the baby right now. And I said, in the 5 years that I've done coaching, this is the most impactful and powerful thing that I've ever been a part of. Maybe one of the most powerful things I've ever been a part of in my life. I hope it's that for you. But to me, hearing these stories, it reminds me why that day 5 years ago was so important, the day I said yes to this, because it caused a ripple effect. Because I said yes, because I got over my limiting self-beliefs, my doubts, my fears, I got to connect with all of these incredible coaches who then said yes to, and now their lives are changed. And tonight they shared their stories. And if you're just tuning in or catching the tail end of this, I hope you find a way to go back maybe in segments and listen to the last few hours, maybe on your commute into work or while you're cooking dinner or hopping in and out of the shower or doing your workout or something. Because what is really cool, and like I said, none of this was planned, I think they gave everyone out there something to relate to. Coaches who struggled with cancer or dealing with, struggles in their marriage or health issues or financial struggles or losing their jobs or spouses losing their jobs. So many different things that maybe you've gone through or you have experienced. And this was just such a full circle moment for me. And this calm came over me, reminding me, oh my God, you could not be in a better place. Like, you are in the right place. You said yes to the right thing and you've connected with the right people. And when you become a part of this community, these are the kind of people you get. These are the people you get, not just leading you. They're by your side. They're in the trenches with you. They're your friends. And what a blessing. I am so grateful. Thank you so much to all of you incredible coaches that spoke tonight. I know that wasn't easy. I know that when I put it out there and said, hey, just share your story, get deep and leave an impact, touch someone's life tonight. I know that a lot of you sat there on the other side of the screen wondering if you should say yes, because I know the people that I get to connect with, they're humble people, they're kind people, and it's not always easy to get up and share your story, the vulnerable pieces of it or the struggles, but they did, and they did it for you guys. So I hope that you were touched tonight as much as I was, and I am just so grateful for you coaches and for all of you that took some time out of your night to watch this or pieces of this. And like I said, if you only caught pieces, I hope you go back and watch, because I can almost guarantee that there is something in this call for you. There's something that you will connect to, someone that you will relate to, and make sure you reach out to the person that brought you to this call. Or if you have any questions, reach out to any of us. We're always here to help. And I'm just grateful. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. And for those of you that spoke, I'm eternally grateful. Have an incredible night, and feel free to share this or tag someone that will be touched by this, their life will be changed by it, or maybe they just need to hear this message of hope. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.